This episode contains graphic descriptions of real medical scenarios faced by real medical professionals. Listener discretion is advised. From Knowledgeable Provider, this is Critical Incident. Hello, welcome back to Critical Incident from Knowledgeable Provider. I'm your host, Jody Marks. Today I want to share the second part of my conversation with Mary McCulloch. A few weeks back I put out an episode where she discussed her struggles after having a knee replacement that did not go so well, to say the least. And while she was introducing herself when we were talking that day, she mentioned that she had been a state police officer, which I didn't know about her. So at the end of our conversation about her medical situation, of course, I couldn't resist asking for some police stories, and she did not disappoint. There's a third part to this conversation also. She started telling me about one of her big hobbies, which is 3D printing, and that ended up being a pretty fascinating conversation as well. It doesn't really have anything to do with medicine, so I decided not to put it on the podcast feed, but I am going to try putting it out as a bonus episode only for Patreon subscribers. So if you're one of those, you will be able to check out the bonus episode through the Patreon website. And if you would like to hear the third part of the conversation with Mary McCulloch, head on over to patreon.com/knowledgeableprovider to sign up. It's $5 a month. I would greatly appreciate the support. And if we get more people signing up, I will start doing some more bonus content. So I hope you enjoy the second part of my conversation with Miss Mary McCulloch. Tell me a police story.
No.
She just covered the microphone with her hands.
Well, let's see.
My dad was a police officer.
Really?
I grew up listening to, hilarious cop stories, and I do have a special place in my heart for that.
Yeah.
If there's anything you'd like to share.
I was there for 3 years, and I was 21 when I went into it, so I was young. I stayed for 3 years, and then I said, I got to go. Sure. Well, my parents were, at the same time I was a police officer, my brother was a fireman.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they was all the time worried. Mother and daddy would say, we'll pay you. No, you're not. No. So I was looking for another job. And I doubled my salary, so I left.
Well, very nice.
And the guy that I worked for, he made me promise him if I ever decided to go back into law enforcement to come see him first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Got you.
The only regret I have with that is he could have got me in the FBI Academy, and I would have liked that without a doubt.
Sure, that'd be cool.
I kind of sometimes miss, and sometimes I don't.
Sure.
I feel for the officers today.
Sure.
I appreciate everything they do, but I hate it, the way that they're treated sometimes.
I'm sure it feels like you're under a microscope all the time.
Yeah, but they're not all bad,
Of course, right.
I was trying to think of a story.
I knew it.
Okay, so one of the guys, he always was picking at me, doing something, always throw the frog or something like that on me. That didn't bother me. So I was out patrolling one evening. I had a brand new car. I saw this dead possum laying on the road. I stopped. I make sure it's dead. I pick it up. I'm going to put it in the trunk of my patrol car.
As one does.
Yeah. And I think I got off about 2 o'clock that morning. Went home. Forgot the possum. So that car wasn't driven for 2 days after I drove it. I was at home at next shift when I was supposed to go in. I get a phone call. Mary, yes, sir. Can you come into the office about an hour early? Yes, sir. I'll be there. He was World War II, real skinny, flat hair, that buzz cut that kind of like Sergeant Carter was.
Sure.
He talked real gruff. He said, would you tell me how a dead possum got in the trunk of the patrol car, and then I had to have it fumigated because there was ticks in the car? I did it.
Okay.
I told him I did it. I said I was going to use it for a prank. I was going to hang it on that guy's mirror of his truck, his rearview mirror on his truck. I know he won't get in it because he's always doing stuff to me. I thought, oh, God. He kind of laughed it off and let it go.
Okay, that's fortunate.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That would have been a great prank.
I'll tell you another time he called me into the office. He said, I got a phone call today from another police facility. And he said, This officer said he got behind you in a patrol car and you shot him a bird. I did. He said, well, I just want you to know I've had to listen to him cry and whine for 2 hours.
What?
He came out there to tell on me. I told Major, I said, I didn't say nothing to him. I didn't threaten him. He didn't blue light me. I just threw up that middle finger.
Why is he so upset about it?
He used to work with us, and he was different. He'd been called a few times for backup, and he didn't show up.
Oh.
You know, so I saw my opportunity, and
Oh, so this wasn't like, haha, hey, buddy.
No.
This was like,
yeah.
Oh, it's that song. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it was that. I did stop my grandmother one time. She was coming here from Birmingham to visit, and I knew her route. I was sitting there watching. There she goes. Here I go. Stop, pulled over. I walked to the car. I said, ma'am, you know why I stopped you? And she looked up at me and she said, I ought to get out of this car and kick your ass. I even had people ask me, was I old enough to be doing that? Because I looked so young.
I bet, yeah.
Is this a joke? No, get out of the car. Yeah, but I couldn't pass that up with my grandmother. Yeah, that was an experience, you know.
Was that here in Alabama? Yeah.
They don't have this police department anymore. It was the mental health police department.
Okay.
But I was a state officer. I had to go through the police academy and everything.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. So you got to deal with a lot of crazy stuff. I was over at Regional Hospital up there on the hill. You ever been up to that hospital?
I have. I did some clinical rotations there when it's still open. Yeah.
Do you know what? I've seen nurses come out of there. They were doing their clinicals and never come back.
I was one of those. I mean, I didn't leave in the middle of it, but we could miss one clinical rotation, and I was like, I think I'm going to use that for my next psych rotation. Yeah, not for me.
I don't blame them.
Yeah.
You know, we would patrol and stuff, and Major didn't want to stay in there more than 4 hours at a time, swap it out.
That makes sense.
Because at that hospital, they get to acting up. We have to lock it down.
Sure, yeah.
I mean,
and I guess you don't carry weapons in there, right?
No, you have to take them off, lock them in a lock box.
Wow, what an adventure!
Yeah, I grew up real fast.
I bet. Yes, I bet.
Yeah, some of the things you see. This one guy, state troopers called. They needed backup, so I got to them, and they were in the median of the highway. He's fighting this guy. And that guy, all he had on was a pair of underwear. So that trooper he's over 6 foot tall. He's a pretty good sized guy. He kicked that dude between the legs. That dude just laughed at him. I said, I'm going to go get in the trunk of my car. No, we was wrestling with him, and then Decatur PD came and backed us up, and we got him in the car. And I don't remember how he got into the front seat. Oh, my God. He tore everything out of that car. Come to find out, his sister was a veterinarian. He got some stuff out of her office.
Yikes.
They always told us at the police academy the most dangerous machine is the human body. I've seen it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They finally got that guy and got him in the backseat of that trooper's car. That was an experience I'll never forget.
Yeah, my dad had always said similar things about fighting people who were on substances and just like superhuman strength, and you can't do anything to stop them.
And that's wild, though, how that happens.
Yeah. You know, I was a paramedic for a long time.
Oh, okay.
And I had never seen anything like that until we went to this guy that he was extremely drunk. I don't know what else he'd been taking, but we got called because he had been fighting with the police. He actually broke one of the police officer's fingers or something. Oh. And somehow we got called to take him to the hospital. And he was a jackass, clearly. Yeah. We got to the hospital. My partner pulled him out of the back of the truck. So, you know, my partner's standing at his feet. He's on the stretcher, and the guy spit on my partner. And there was a police officer right there. And he took out his taser, and it was one that you would fire. But he just put it directly on his chest and went, you know. And the guy just like kind of bowed up and just looked at him like, what's that? And you could see the expression on the officer's face just went from like fierce to like, ooh, he's like checking the battery of his taser. That's the first time I'd ever seen anybody just beyond like being put down, crazy.
Yeah. I've seen them little ones, they'd be probably not 100 pounds soaking wet. Well, boy, you're talking about putting up a fight.
And the old people with dementia or the mental health people, man, they can fight you.
They can. And a mental institute is not no place for a dementia patient. I know one of them was a female. She was there, and she didn't belong there. Because they'd had first floor was the locked unit. Mm-hmm. All those units stayed locked, but number one's where the bad ones went.
Yeah.
But them people can get out of hand sometimes.
I was doing a rotation as a medic student one time over at ECM in Florence. They used to call it the 400 unit. I think it was called First North or something.
Yeah.
But there's a guy in there that got out of control. I took him his meal, and I didn't have enough sense to take it off the tray, So now he's got a weapon. And very soon he was in there wielding that thing like a bat, going, come on, motherfucker, whatever. They had to call the sheriff's department to come in, and we all went storming in there behind one of their big riot shields and pinned him down, and they gave him an injection of whatever. But that was, man, nutso. He's like banging on that door. It's a locked door, but you can see it like giving. I'm like, this dude's about to break this door down, kill us all. It's scary.
Yeah. Well, that guy that we were fighting at on the highway, he kicked that back door on that patrol car, and it bolted out a little bit.
Yeah.
So I just told him, I said, I'm out of here. I can't help y'all. I mean, I didn't leave until they got him under control and got him in the car where they could take him.
Sure.
You start ever know. And, you hear people say on a full moon. I believe it because I've seen it.
I believe it too.
We'd have to lock all 4 of those units down. And we'd know if it's a full moon, get ready. The weirdest stuff happened and the craziers get crazy.
Sure.
I shouldn't say that, but
I mean, I think you're right. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Oh, whew, man.
We swear that's a thing even here. We're just working in medicine. Like,
yeah.
It was a full moon recently, and yesterday was like the worst day we've ever had. Like,
really?
I swear, there's something to that. But yeah, I think especially like working in the field or emergency or law enforcement, yeah, there's something to that.
I'll tell you about another patient that I won't never forget. Some of them could go home on furlough, and this guy did. And they called. They was having trouble with him. He was acting out at home and stuff, getting real violent. So we took off over there. And me and my partner went in, and this guy was in a wheelchair. But at the time, he jumps out that wheelchair, and we're wrestling with him, fighting with him. And Gary said, get his legs. And I just reached and grabbed both his legs. And when I did, they came off my hands. Hello. I thought, shit. But look, that guy could beat you. He used to play professional football. And he had some type of a disease, and he lost both his legs. Man, he could flip and flop. I mean, and when he got out of hand, we'd just take the wheelchair he's sitting in and push it up against the wall. Because we knew if we didn't, what was going to happen.
Isn't there some joke about a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest? Apparently you can do fine in an ass-kicking contest with no legs. Okay.
Yeah. That one could. I can tell you that from experience. He sure could. Well, his upper body, he was real strong anyway.
Yeah.
God.
It's intimidating trying to take care of people when they're being aggressive, and especially if it's someone that could overpower you.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I learned in that situation like that, don't go in real aggressive, because sometimes when they see that uniform, it puts people on the defensive right off the bat.
Sure.
But, yeah, people are just hard to handle like that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do that anymore.
There's no way I could work in law enforcement. No way.
No.
I think that's probably where a lot of officers get in trouble, is not de-escalating. Again, not ever having been a law enforcement officer, but I've worked with, I've been on a lot of scenes with a lot of law enforcement officers, and you can tell when they're adding fuel to the fire and not calming things down. You can tell when it's kind of getting out of control.
That one guy said, if he gets to acting out, I'm going to open the back door and let him go.
Yeah.
I ain't going to be able to.
Yeah. That was the thing on the ambulance all the time. Like, I'm not risking my life to keep this idiot in this truck.
Mm-mm.
I'll do what I can, but if you want to go, hey, door's unlocked.
Have it. Go on.
Yeah, see you later.
Flip on out.
I mean, at some point, it's not worth it, I make
it's
$12 an hour. Go on,
Yeah, I'm not doing this.
I appreciate you sharing all that with me.
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
Thank you again so much to my guest, Mary McCulloch. I had such a blast having this conversation with her. I had a blast again editing it. I don't think I've laughed so hard editing an episode of this podcast to date. Again, if you'd like to hear more of my conversation with Miss Mary McCulloch, head over to patreon.com/knowledgeableprovider and sign up, and that bonus episode will be available for you. I hope everyone's doing well, having a great holiday season. As always, thanks for listening, and I'll talk to you later. I would love to share your critical incident on the podcast. If you have a story you want to tell, send it to me by email at thekppod@gmail.com. That's thekppod@gmail.com. You can send it in writing and I'll read the story. You can make a high-quality recording of yourself telling the story and I'll play that. Or I can interview you about it, either remotely or in person. Thank you for listening, and as always, stay safe, take care of yourself, and take care of your patients in that order.